Bruh, bruh. I hope y'all saw it. The Jaguars win. We got a whole lot to talk about, man, because woo, they are something else.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, welcome to another edition of the Locked On Jaguars. I am the host of the Locked On Jaguars podcast, Tony Wiggins. Where's your team every day? And we thank you for making us your first listen. A quick reminder, we are free to subscribe to on our YouTube page. Make sure you tap in, hit the like button, hit the bell button so you get notifications anytime we drop a show. And make sure wherever you listen to your audio podcast, you check in every day to make sure you don't miss an episode. Listen here. I am going to give up trying to tell y'all how the Jacksonville Jaguars need to play. Because last year I said they need to make sure they get a lead and play with the lead, and then they had all of the success coming from behind. This year I've been saying they need an identity. They need to play like a computer program. They need to know who they are. They're 3-2 and don't seem like they recognize their own face if they saw a reflection of it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to realize something, that as frustrating as they could be, they're also that much more entertaining. There you go. And the beauty of this team is you don't know what you're going to get every week. So for 17 weeks this year, we're already through with 5 of them. You got 12 more. I guarantee you for the next 12 weeks, you're going to be sitting here on the edge of your seat every single week, scratching your head, wondering what the hell is going on with this team, right? Right. I know it. Here's what happened today. They won a game 25-20, right? They played the hits, especially after a while. They started off with some passes from guys like Luke Farrell, and you need those guys. But after a while, they just got to it, man, because they were playing well, but they weren't scoring points. So they had an 11-7 lead at halftime, and they should have been up 3 touchdowns, right? I'm going to tell you how it ended up. It ended up with, in the second half, the only people you saw touching that ball were Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, of course, every single play because he's the quarterback, and the man of the day, Travis Etienne Jr. Now, Zay Jones had a catch early for a touchdown. He left with an injury. They got Evan Ingram involved a little bit. But mainly what you saw here, you saw Purple Rain, you saw Thriller, you saw whatever the hell Garth Brooks' favorite album was. You saw U2's best album. You saw they played the hits, man. They played the hits. They went for it. And it almost wasn't enough. All right? But it was. Travis Etienne busted out for 26 carries, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Very timely. Calvin Ridley, 7 catches, 122 yards. Christian Kirk, 6 catches for 78 yards. My man Trevor Lawrence, 25 out of 37 for 315 yards and a tutty. Trevor had the game today that I hope everybody around the country could see now. You don't judge him by statistics. You judge him by talent and consistency. That's what you do, because he's trying to be more consistent, trying to be more talented. The offensive line, Walker Little left today. Cam Robinson got beat up a little bit. Anton Harrison continues his struggle. The interior of the line still can't block nobody, but they figured out how to win, right? And one of the analogies that I kept using was they're taking you from Bora Bora to San Quentin. I even put up a little diagram of a direct flight from Bora Bora to San Quentin. 1 minute you're on vacation and you're happy and you're chilling. Even towards the end of the game when they went way up, Buffalo scored another touchdown and almost got an onside kick. I mean, usually you have that type of variance from game to game, right? A couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there, you don't play well. And sometimes you play good in the first half and the second half. And sometimes you play good for one quarter and then play bad for another quarter, then play good for another quarter. The Jaguars play great 2 plays, and then they'll give you like the greatest play you ever seen or that you've ever saw, whichever one. Shout out to my English teacher, Miss Hogan. I didn't pay attention. To looking like the Bad News Bears. They look like a Pop Warner team. It is frustrating but entertaining that they go from this to that, from the yin to the yang, and they do it instantaneously. It's just like they're going along, they're playing well, and it's like just add water. Here comes a mistake. Or they're playing poorly, and it's just add water. Here comes a dude running for 60 yards down the field. You just don't know what to expect out of this team. And I'm going to tell you something. It's probably making me a little bit younger. It ain't driving me crazy. I actually feel like I'm raising a house full of 13-year-olds. That's what it feels like. But isn't it something? They're 3-2. I told you, a win, don't care what it looks like. There are no wins that say pretty or ugly. They just say win or losses. And the Jaguars are 3-2 with 2 straight wins coming in London. They beat another good team. Another example of Trevor Lawrence lining up against one of the better quarterbacks in the league, not named Patrick Mahomes, and just saying, yeah, he might be able to do that, but I'm not taking that from you. This is 2 victories over Josh Allen. He beat Lamar Jackson. He played Joe Burrow very close, and he's beat Justin Herbert twice. I told you, when you put him on the field against one of those dudes, he is going to step up. A little bit of by the numbers before we hit the turn, and we're going to talk about who this team is and try to figure out how we're going to move forward. A little bit of by the numbers. Travis Etienne on the day. He's my player of the game, by the way. Travis Etienne had 26 carries for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he busted one. I think during the game I mentioned they couldn't find any room because the line wasn't moving anybody. I say they're going to keep this up because of injuries and because of fatigue and jet lag and all of that stuff combined. They're going to pop one, and he busted one around the left side for a long touchdown that we thought sealed the game until the Bills scored in like 17 seconds, and the Jaguars had to hold on for dear life. Trevor Lawrence, great game. 25 for 37, 315 yards, a touchdown. Calvin Ridley got off of the schneid with 7 receptions, 122 yards. And the defense turned him over twice. Did get a whole bunch of pressure, but they turned him over twice. The 1 sack that I did see that Josh Allen got, they kind of called it back because it was by rule, it was a good call, but it was a bad call because he didn't intentionally face smack Josh Allen, but they bumped faces, so they called illegal hit to the head or target or whatever they called it, or defenseless quarterback or whatever. And the referee, by the way, for the broadcast said that they probably shouldn't have called that stuff. Here's what we're going to do, man. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to break this down a little bit further. I know y'all celebrating. Everybody's probably barbecuing now. Y'all can't tell me this wasn't a roller coaster ride today, though. We're going to break that down a little bit more. I'm going to tell you who I think they are. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who they are. And that's who I think they are. They're a team that we will never, ever figure out. As long as they figure out how to win, we probably won't care very much. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Let's know about today's sponsors, and then we'll get right back into it. And I might even be able to get to 1 or 2 of these messages here today. We'll do that in just a second here on a postcast edition of Locked On Jaguars. First, I got to let you know about FanDuel. I hope you're on it right now because I'm doing real well right this minute. I ain't trying to flex and brag. I ain't going to do the Shador on you, but I'm telling you, I'm getting close. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you're thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better place to get in on the action. The spreads are the truth. Player props are great, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. And got to let y'all know, especially if you are trying, find a way to make hires. That's right. If you're trying to find a way to make hires for your company, there's only one place that you should be doing that, and that is LinkedIn. That's right. LinkedIn Talent Solutions, man. All you got to do is on your LinkedIn profile, make sure you add the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile. Once you do that, then you'll be lined up with the best candidates for the job. That's right. The best candidates for the job that you're trying to fill. And you're going to be able to interview people and ask questions. It's going to be real targeted. And you're going to do like me, like I did with 2 companies. You're going to load those folks up, and it's going to be happily ever after. That's right. Because LinkedIn is the place where you all need to go to make sure that the word gets out about what you're trying to do. So here's the thing. Go to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNFL. One word. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, man, we running it down here, man. And woo, what a day, what a day, what a day, what a day. Tale of 2 teams, man. But it's not even about half. At first it looked like the first half they were lights out, but when you saw the score, you realize, okay, they're lights out, but they ain't getting nothing for it. It's like they did all this work, but they were just practicing. You know what it looked like the first half? It looked like the first half the Jags they got a new job, did 2 weeks in a hole. Did a great job, but you didn't get paid for it yet, right? They did 2 weeks in a hole, right? That's what they did. And then they came out in the second half and they did 2 weeks in a hole, but they did it every hour. Like they make great plays, and then the most boneheaded play you ever. It feels like they should have won this game 40-20, but they didn't. But here's what we say here on Locked On Jaguars. There are no wins called ugly. There are no wins called pretty. They are just called wins. And right now they're 3-2 after the first 5 weeks. It could be a lot worse. Could have been a little bit better, but it wasn't. So how do we make it better for Jacksonville Jaguars? Well, you got to pray and bless up, man, because I don't know the extent of Walker Little's injury as of yet. I probably got the email, but I did not check that out yet because I've been doing some other stuff. Walker Little, who had moved inside the left guard, got banged up. Cam Robinson came back. Let me rephrase that. Cam Robinson's body came back. It looked like he was still wherever he'd been because he didn't play well. Anton Harrison, his body was there, but it looked like he ain't showed up yet either. And they're going to have to really get those guys together because now if you take Walker Little out of the equation, I think they're a worse offensive line than they were when they just had Walker Little and Anton Harrison without Cam Robinson. Bring back Cam Robinson, you're thinking, okay, we're cooking a little bit. Now you lose Walker Little. Now I think they're a little bit worse off, right? Just getting banged up on the offense. They still ain't blocking nobody, man. They're just so opportunistic. Travis Etienne looks like Dalvin Cook when he was in college at Florida State. How did he get all those yards? And he ain't getting, and nobody's blocking. This shows you just how talented that dynamic duo is of T&T, Trevor and Travis. 2 college teammates that won in college, played lights out in college, and now they're doing it together in the NFL. Calvin Ridley quieted the critics this week. Zay Jones came back and then went out again with another injury. Christian Kirk played well himself. So the skill position players seem to figure it out, right? Defensively, they did okay. They did good in certain spots, but then that's what happens when you play talented people. When you play Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, guys that are going to be knocking on the door of Canton, things are going to happen to you, right? They gave up some plays. They bent, but they didn't break. And they got out of there with a victory, man. They got out of there with a win. Who are they? Let me tell you who they are. They're a team that you ain't going to know every week what you're going to get. In fact, I'm going to even take it. It's not even about a weekly thing. You won't know play for play what you're going to get until they give you a demonstrated performance where they're going to show you play for play who they are. That is a scary but fun team to root for. And it's also, we need to look at the flip side. It's also a very scary team to have to play against every single week because you can get it handed to you. You saw the talent. Everyone has seen the talent. The talent is what it is with their skill position players. Josh Allen made a couple of plays. Trayvon made a play or two at the end of it. Tyson Campbell, my bad, Tyson Campbell. I called for Ryan Clark to talk about you this week, and you gave up a touchdown. Then I called Ryan Clark. I said, he ain't playing bad. You can still highlight him. And gave up another one. So that's on me. But plays are going to happen when you're a good player, and they put a lot on you, man-to-man wise. Who's calling plays? Don't know, don't care. Still don't know and don't care. I had people telling me all day that Doug needs to take over the play calling. And then I had somebody tell me that Doug was already taking over the play calling. And then the people kept talking about play calling. And you know what I said? This is why we need to stop talking about who's calling plays, because it is distracting you from the fact that they can't block anybody. They couldn't block anybody if they had star 67. They just can't do it. And I don't know how they're going to fix that during the season unless they make a trade. And normally people don't trade you stuff that is that valuable, man. So I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to entertain the hell out of you the rest of the year. Let me try to get some of these questions real quick. People say we improved so much on third down. We did. That's a long name, man. I don't know who that is that said that. Random and somebody, okay? Random and whoever that is behind him in his name. Yeah, that's it. Somebody talk about the Colts next week. I don't want to talk about no Colts. Somebody said Trevor's going to probably get our Ben. We don't talk about people getting hurt. We don't anticipate that stuff. What up, Charles Johnson? Say, what's up, Wig? Let's go. All right, all of that. Wayman, this team is starting to click and figure it out how to win. Wayman, I couldn't disagree with you more. They figured out how to win, but I'm gonna tell you what they ain't figuring out. They ain't figuring out how to figure out nothing. They're using the talent and it's working. All right. But I ain't gonna say this team has anything figured out, because I'm done with thinking that I know how. I tore up my picture earlier. I did an interview with Locked On Sports Today. I just tore up all of my information and say, here's from my notes. We're gonna throw them out of the window because I don't know what they're gonna do anymore. I don't know what anybody's gonna do. I tell you what they're gonna do. One thing I know they're gonna do, they're gonna get on that plane and come home 3-2, and that's all that matters. All right. Wayne Rickerson says, looks like you're recovering well. Got that pep in your step. No, I got that Rick James in my veins. I ain't doing well. I'm up here hurting right now. In fact, I got about one more minute on this podcast, and I'm gonna go take me some more medicine. Don't let this beautiful face fool you. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be back tomorrow on Monday with a Victory Monday postcast. We're gonna run through it, go through all of that stuff. After I get out of physical therapy, we're going to come back. I'm going to listen to the press conferences. Everybody's going to be happy. The Jags are 3-2. Buckle your seatbelts for the rest of the year, because it is going to be a roller coaster ride worth it all. Until then, you guys, make sure you tune into the Locked On Jaguars podcast each and every day. Make sure also that what you do is take care of each other, man. You know I got to leave y'all by saying that. Take care of each other. The Jags are 3-2, 25-20, man. They bust up Buffalo. Now we got to get them home and see if we can keep doing the same thing to the Colts. See you next time here on Locked On Jaguars.